Hello, so I'm Amok Bankar and I will be talking about my two topics, which is multi-component system profit and transaction scale profit. So the first example would be Coca-Cola and their licensing and distribution network. So Coca-Cola's approach is that the primary high margin product is the syrup concentrate, and the multi-component system is the vast global bottling and distribution network. Coca-Cola sells concentrate to independent bottlers who will then produce and distribute the high volume and low margin finished beverages, uh, which are the retail packets of Coca Cola as well as fountain drinks, etc. So, Coca Cola profits immensely from selling the concentrate to its network, and the bottles are locked into producing and distributing the final high volume drinks on a massive scale. So the key takeaway here is that Coke applies the multi-component system profit by focusing on their high margin base, which is the concentrate that they create, for which they have a proprietary recipe, which is again not disclosed to anyone. And apart from this, they have created an extensive semi-independent network of bottlers where they supply this base to the bottlers who will then produce the final high volume consumable which has a low profit margin, but Coca-Cola selling the base to them, that gives a higher profit to Coca-Cola. Now, Nespresso is the second example, which has premium pod-based coffee. So this is a razor and blades model where we can see that the razor is a product which gives a low margin to the company, but it invites the consumers to then get joined into the ecosystem of the product, which causes recurring purchases of the blades, and the blades here is from where the real profit comes. So the Nespresso machines are often sold at medium to low price points. Sometimes it is even subsidized to drive the customer acquisition, and the real profit comes from the continued purchase of the Nespresso cups or the coffee pods which are used in the machines, and these are at high per cup margins. So Nespresso locks its consumers into its ecosystem through the unique machine designs and the patented pods, ensuring that you have repeat purchases of the high margin consumables. So this is a closed system of a proprietary consumable where we have consistent sales which are driven by the ecosystem that the consumers get locked into, and this also builds consumer loyalty and convenience, and perceived quality is built since in the mind of the consumer it is a sort of a narrative that they can only use a Nespresso coffee pod in their Nespresso coffee machine, and they should only use that to ensure the quality. Now we go to topic number two, which is transaction scale profit. So Morgan Stanley, an example from the PDF, high volume financial services. The concept is that profitability is driven by a massive volume of individual transactions. Even if each transaction has a relatively small profit margin, the emphasis on maximizing their reach and the throughput. So, as a leading financial services firm, Morgan Stanley engages in a number of daily transactions across a variety of financial instruments, and they profit from the fees, the commissions on each transaction, which are often very small percentages, but the number of transactions in itself is so high that they end up making a profit. And their market position, Morgan Stanley as a leading player has a market position and infrastructure that they have focused on and built upon to facilitate a huge volume of financial market activities for all of their clients. So small profits come from each of these activities that happen daily on a very large basis, and that is how their success relies on having a lot of transactions with the tiny margins built up to drive profitability. Lastly, we have Southwest Airlines, which is a low cost carrier, low cost, high volume flights. Another example that can be given here is of Ryanair as well. Ryanair is the current famous low cost carrier. What we can see here is that cost cutting has been done in every way possible by standardizing their fleet of exclusively Boeing 737s. So this simplifies the maintenance. This may give them some benefits when they are ordering these jets, such as discounts, because they have a single supplier here, and reduces the operational costs. The routes are point to point, which have very few of these routes have layovers, which means that there is a higher turnaround time, and one flight, one jet can be utilized a number of times in a single day. That means more flights per day, and these are shorter flights. Thirdly, no frill service. So they eliminated things such as assigned seating and passing the cost savings directly onto the consumers. So there is no free food in the airplane, there is no entertainment, there are no seats where you can pay extra for extra legroom. It is just standardized in such a way that to optimize on the cost cutting and increase the number of flights and number of transactions. So the key takeaway is that Southwest Airlines perfectly embodies transaction scale profit through having extreme operational efficiency, which they work on in many ways, be it inside the plane, be it their routes, be it their staffing and the airports that they use. They're also known for using some offbeat airports where the airport fees charged to the airline is lesser, thus they're saving costs there. This shows that meticulous cost control and focus on high volumes of transactions uh, build significant cumulative profits. Thank you.